Folks, this is a very exciting event. It is the annual Collegiate Financial Planning Competition by the International Association of Registered Financial Consultants. We're at the Immaculate Place. It's a country club at the Speedway, the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And I wanted to spend some time today talking to participants, sponsors, and folks about their overall experience about working with this competition and the benefits of it. Let's join some of those right now. And we're here with Doug Isles, who is Program Director of the Business School in the Financial Department of Central Michigan University. They're one of the three finalists here. Doug, thanks for coming today.
My pleasure.
Yeah. Now, what got you involved in the planning competition?
Just an interest of seeing how the students could better prepare by understanding and applying real-world applications to case studies. So I thought it was an interesting way for the students to better apply some of these.
Well, that brings up a good point. How important is it for them to learn how to do a complete financial plan?
Critical. If they can't do that well and communicate that well and understand all the elements they're going to be doing here, they probably will not do well in the career. So I think it's paramount.
Yeah. Now, what do you think participating in this event will do for, as far as name recognition for your university, which again is Central Michigan?
Will certainly help brand what we hope to build is, and that is build really high qualified, credentialed students to send out in the real world to apply to become the next generation of quality financial advisors.
In the process, how do you think your students have benefited from this? Have they had good feedback? Have you got good feedback from them as far as participating in this competition?
They've enjoyed it immensely. It's been a wonderful thing. They've learned a lot. They've just embraced the whole process and had a wonderful experience here today to get to see the whole world and really understand what the world's all about.
Beautiful speedway, isn't it? It's a nice speedway.
But more than that, hearing the speakers this morning, these are things that I've had a chance to hear in my career, but to share that knowledge and that wisdom is critical.
Thanks for your time today. And we're here with Inga Kyra, who is from Cal State in Northridge.
Yes, in Los Angeles.
Right outside L.A. And what I wanted to ask here is, how do you think your students have benefited from being in this competition?
I think it's very important to expose students to real-world situations, and this is a great experience for them to do that.
How do you think this will benefit being on their resume, being in a competition like this?
Well, if nothing else, they just learn how to use a very specific software they can put on your resume and say, I know how to learn something new really fast.
Yeah, it's very important to see real-world experiences, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Now, being involved in this competition, how has this benefited the university, do you think, for as far as name recognition?
We have a brand new program. It's only been around for 2 or 3 years, so this is going to be a really good step into showing that we actually have a good program. The employers can trust us and they can hire our students.
Yeah. Now, you guys have made a long trip from the West Coast to the East Coast. Do you think it's been beneficial so far?
So far, so good. We got a lot of interesting information this morning.
Yeah. Any final points for anyone who's watching out there who might want to participate in the competition in the future?
I think you should totally do it. It's worth the time, the investment, and the learning you get out of it.
Yeah. Very good points, folks. Thanks for your time today.
No problem. Bye.
Now, we're here with a veteran of the competition. Her name is Mara of Darien, and she has had winners in the past. Tell us your experience. How have your students benefited from being in this competition?
Oh, they benefit greatly. I think it's a wonderful opportunity to get real-world experience while still in the confines, if you will, of a university setting. Yep. I do, after being here, this is our 3rd year, I do have to say I like the way that the plans are presented, the narratives, almost as if you're having a conversation with a client. They jump around topic to topic, so it really requires the students to dig in and identify the issues.
Now, you've had, like I said, students in the past that have been in the competition. They're out in the real world now, right? What kind of feedback have you received from them about how they benefited being in this competition?
In a lot of different ways. Some have chosen to go into financial planning in wealth management areas, and others have gone different routes. But the experience they learned, the professionalism, the presentation skills, all of that have aided them in their respective careers.
And you're from Bryant University. Tell the folks where that is.
That is right outside of Providence, Rhode Island.
Okay, right outside of Providence, folks, the home of the clam cake and real fried clams, because that's where my relatives are from, too. Being in this competition, has it helped your university get name recognition as well?
Oh, absolutely. We just recently got approval for a CFP-sponsored program, okay. And this will add a lot of life to it. Prior to this year, our students were coming just more out of an interest in financial planning. Now there's actually a program that they can enter into.
I wish they had this when I was in school, but they didn't. But it's a real good program. Any other feedback that you'd want to give anybody out there about if they were thinking about participating?
I would highly recommend it. I think it's a wonderful opportunity. I think the organization does a great job in cultivating, the next generation, and a lot of the breakout sessions are very, very helpful.
Folks, thanks for your time today.
Thank you.
Folks, we're here with Barry Daly, who is one of the sponsors. His company is Money Concepts, and we really appreciate you sponsoring the event.
Oh, it's a privilege to be involved, yes.
Well, Why did let me ask you this? Why did you guys decide to sponsor it? I know you sponsored it in the past. What has been the motivation behind being one of the sponsors, one of the big sponsors, by the way?
Well, there's going to be a need for literally thousands of financial planners coming up in the next few years, actually. Mm-hmm. We're really excited to get involved with college students and helping them get into the profession of financial planning.
I'm a small sponsor, just an individual sponsor, but I see the value of it. But what do you think the value of being a corporate sponsor is to the organization or to competitions like this? How important is it for corporations to step up, especially ones that are in the financial world, to sponsor events like this?
Well, it's great name recognition. It's an opportunity to interact with students who are really the future of our business. Yep. And so our ulterior motive would be to get our name out there and maybe attract some young talent to our firm.
Any feedback you'd give someone out there who is maybe considering being a corporate sponsor in the future?
I would do it. Get involved.
One word says it all, folks. It really does mean a lot, though, to really step up. If you care about the industry you're in, why wouldn't you put a little money forward and help out the future? Because our organization is losing young people or not getting enough. This really helps get more young people interested in the financial planning process, doesn't it?
It surely does. Thank you. Yes.
Again, Barry Daly from Money Concepts, one of the best sponsors we've ever had. Thanks, Barry.
Thank you very much.
Folks, one of the best things about coming to this event for me is I get to meet cool people that are in the industry from around the nation. We've got Dominique Kamart with us today, and I interviewed him last year, and one of the unique things about last year is that he ended up hiring somebody who was in the competition last year. Dominique, welcome in.
Thank you. Yeah, good to be here.
Let's talk about this. What inspired you to hire somebody? They must have really, it's almost like an interview, wasn't it, when you were watching them?
Absolutely. It's so nice to see this kind of competition going on around the country and having well-prepared advisors coming into the business. There's such a need for that, and it's a true pleasure to be part of that.
Now, where are you located?
I'm here in Charlotte.
In Charlotte. And where was the person you hired located?
And the person I hired happened to be in Fort Mill, or Rock Hill, South Carolina, which
is right down the road.
Winthrop College.
Yeah, Winthrop College. Okay. So how has this experience benefited that person? I guess by you hiring him, but what have you seen? I mean, how has the quality been of the folks that have been participating in this competition?
The quality has been unbelievably surprising. It's fantastic. In the 6-7 months that she's been with us already, she claims she's learned more in those 6 months than she has in 4 years in college. So, getting down to the street level is where it all happens, and it's such a great experience for these folks.
Well, we call that real world experience over book experience, right?
Exactly.
So what would you tell someone who is thinking about wanting to participate in an event like this? Should they do it?
Oh, absolutely. No question about it.
What's the importance of events like this, do you think, nationally for the colleges to do events like this or to encourage their students to participate in events like this?
I think the most important thing that they need to realize is that the industry is changing so fast. The regulatory environment is having a major impact on this, older generation in this business is sort of waving out, and there's a big gap behind us. And I think the biggest thing about this is the preparation for what's coming, in the future, and I think it's really fantastic.
Folks, very important that you encourage the youngsters to keep participating, and gosh, you never know, you might get a job out of it if you're watching this and thinking about participating. Dominique, thanks for your time today.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
We're here with Bernal and Anthony Pelias, and they are from California State, Northridge, and they are some of the contestants in the financial planning competition this year. Guys, I want to ask you a couple questions. How did this financial planning competition open your eyes to the financial planning profession?
Well, it really opened up, gave us some real-world experience. This is something that we do in our case planning classes in our final year at school, and this kind of jump-started it. We actually did this competition before our final, case planning class. So, we were light years ahead of other students, and gave us some real-world experience that we were happy to do.
How about you, Anthony?
I would say that it's a learning experience. I learned a lot. Pretty much experience. What it has to deal with, like people and clients, maybe, and that's pretty much what I got.
It's one thing to look at it in a book or have your professor talking about it, but how did this professor bring to life the true concept of working with a client?
Well, we get like scenarios or like they give us like those kind of scenarios that we deal with clients and how to deal with them, give us examples, like usually real life examples. And I think now they're doing like those projects that you really deal with someone and do their kind of financial plan.
Yeah, Cole, how is that? I mean, it's a little different from looking at it in a book and then having a real case study you have to really work with and then have to simulate talking to the client, isn't it?
Yeah, well, going through this process, it really gets you, opens your eyes up to seeing what it's like working with, actual client and the way you would interact with them. Not so much in the textbook case where, it's a lot of number crunching and, it's all the theory behind it. But in real life, you're not talking to robots, you're talking to real people. So you have to have real conversations, and you gotta, talk to them like, you would talk to your own family or your own friends, and make sure that you're giving them, ideas for, the real life and real situations they might encounter. So
best of luck in the future, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We're with Daniel Ingalls and Grant Hewitt, who are from Central Michigan University, and I wanted to ask you guys about the difficult parts of this planning competition. I mean, it's one thing to get the examples and get the exercise, but what was the most difficult part to you working on this?
Absolutely. I think first of all, our professor Doug Isles, he's absolutely incredible, right? And he really, when we were going through the program, focused on wanting us to be able to make these calculations by hand, right? So I think the hardest thing for Grant and myself was to acquaint ourselves with a different analytical system that was probably a little different than we're used to working with.
Yeah. How about you, Grant? Anything else?
I think it was good just to have that real world experience. It's a life-changing, to see a plan actually go into action and be able to talk to a client, back and forth. And I think it was just a great experience overall.
What did you guys learn about the true need for a true professional plan to have, like for everyone out there to have a true plan in place?
Well, I think it's important for, individuals to go and get a plan. And, it's all about implementation and, having your client really trust you.
Yep. How about you, Daniel?
Absolutely. I mean, it's virtually impossible to hit a target if you don't know where it is.
What would you say to people out there who maybe are in college and they're thinking about participating in this plan or this planning competition? Would you recommend it?
Absolutely. It's a ton of fun.
Yes, it was a ton of fun. Okay. And, it just gives you a real world experience. And,
Well, best of luck to you guys in the future.
Thank you.
Yep. We're here with Molly Funk. She's one of the contestants in the planning competition. She's from Bryant University in Providence, Rhode Island. And I wanted to ask you, what are the main concepts that you picked up during this exercise, during the process of putting together a true plan? Are there any concepts that really stick out in your mind as things maybe you didn't think about?
Yeah, so definitely this was a huge learning experience for me. I hadn't had any formal training on kind of financial planning. It wasn't offered at my school until this year, actually. So I didn't really have a lot of training, so I had to do a lot of self-study. Mm-hmm. And I guess I learned so much about life insurance and long-term care planning that I really didn't know existed. So it was actually really cool to be able to go home around the holidays and, talk to my parents and my family members who obviously have these kind of policies and know a little bit about it and be able to converse with them in a educated way. So that was really fun for me.
Would you find yourself maybe educating them on things they haven't discovered in the past?
And that was an interesting experience. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Now, during the process, did you find an importance, or what is the importance with working with a true team of professionals like attorneys and CPAs when you build a true plan?
Right. So during this fictional plan, I worked by myself, which was challenging with the scope of the project and whatnot. So it really kind of led me to realize that, the financial planner is not necessarily the expert on all situations, and a good team is built up of people that are experts in their fields and can rely and trust on each other to help make the plan go well.
Matter of fact, I've seen way too many financial professionals who act like they're attorneys and CPAs, and you get yourself in a lot of trouble if you do it the wrong way. Any final words you want to, like if someone's watching this now and they're in college and they're trying to decide if they should participate in this planning competition, what would you say to them?
I definitely encourage it. I mean, it was a really great learning experience for me. I found out things I never knew possible that are really applicable to everyday life. So I really encourage it. It's a great way to learn.
Well, best of luck to you in the future.
Thank you.
As you see, there's been some fantastic answers here, and the goal with the competition is to win a trophy. And you'll see behind me, we've got the big trophy from the races here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Folks, life is a competition. It's not a race, but it's a competition, and the secret to it is making sure you get fully prepared to make sure that you have all the tools you need to win the most important race, and that's the race to make sure that you're doing the best thing for your clients. It's Coach Pete live here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Hope you've enjoyed the interviews.